Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing splendidly. You know, they say that truth can sometimes be stranger than fiction, but then there are other times when fiction is just utter nonsense. For example, I just saw the new Fast and Furious movie, and boy, as fiction goes. Similarly, the nonsense surrounding Manchester United's takeover. So let's get to the bottom of it together. Here's a couple of things about Manchester United's takeover. If you read the latest media reports, you'd believe that a deal is imminent, and Sheikh Jassim has seemingly won the race to get the exclusivity period. Even Rio Ferdinand has chimed in, and his unnamed sources have told him that a deal is very close. And I don't necessarily doubt that Rio Ferdinand, being the servant of the club that he has been, would still have some key contacts within the club. And if he's been made privy to this information, then good for him. However, there are a few caveats. So when they say a deal is imminent, I believe what they mean is that the bid will be successful. See, Jassim's bid getting accepted by the Glazers and the deal being completed are two completely different things. I reckon once the bid is accepted, which is where we are at right now. And by the way, there is absolutely nothing out of the ordinary in this deal. 7 or 8 months is pretty standard for a deal of this size. It is absolutely normal. Once Sheikh Jassim's bid is accepted, it will still be a couple of months before the deal is completed because this is just the nature of the beast. So yes, we are pretty much in the end game. However, the end game is going to take a bit longer than they will have us believe. And the biggest reason why I think we are in the end game is yes, share prices. The story was broken by Al Watan from Qatar, which is a local newspaper which translates to roughly the nation. They covered this story that a deal is imminent, and interestingly, the newspaper is partly owned by Jassim's father, so make of that what you will. But when people start trading stocks in such frequencies, that means something is about to happen. So I think the share prices increasing as much as they did is to date the biggest indicator that we've gotten about us finally getting to the end game. I know all us United fans are on pins and needles, but good things take time. And this is one of the best things that's going to happen to our club in a long time. So, patience, my dear Watsons. Actually, it was Refinitive, which is a part of Thomson Reuters. Reuters is their news arm. Thomson Reuters is the parent company, and they own a lot of sister concerns. See, the interesting thing is that what Refinitive does is that in addition to providing financial services, they provide market data, market analysis. See, big companies, when they are making decisions about mergers and acquisitions or expanding their businesses into new regions, they rely on data reports and analysis of these giant reputable companies like Refinitiv and Gartner and IDC and so many others. So Refinitiv releasing this is very encouraging because Refinitiv's bread and butter is providing the most accurate analysis and predictions about the whole business world. So if Refinitiv is publishing such reports about the acquisition of Manchester United being closer than ever before, then you gotta pay heed to it. So very exciting times indeed, ladies and gentlemen. So what about that exclusivity period that Jassim is about to get and we're all so happy about? You know, I've been thinking about it for the past couple of days, and the more I think about it, the less sense it makes. Let me tell you what I'm on about. The mainstream legacy media said 5 rounds of bids have happened. There were deadlines, and then deadlines were not met, and then finally after 5 rounds, bid time finished. So that means there cannot be any more bids. So what is the exclusivity period for then? If we have already crossed the limit and there will be no more bids, then why is Jassim gonna get this exclusivity period? What does it even mean? There is no such thing, folks, as exclusivity periods. What are they trying to say? If someone comes along now and says, I will give you 10 billion pounds, Glazers, the Glazers will say, oh no, we've given an exclusivity period to Jassim. There is no such thing. What I am completely 100% fully on board the Jassim Al Thani train. In fact, in the first chapter, which was about a month and a week or two ago, I said that I believe Sheikh Jassim will be our new owner. And that is the time when legacy and mainstream media was talking about Jim Ratcliffe being all but confirmed. So, yes, I think Jassim's going to win. In fact, I think Jassim won 3 or 4 months ago, because the way these negotiations work is it's all about leverage. The Glazers' leverage is Manchester United. They have the crown jewel of English football that they're trying to sell. And Sheikh Jassim has all the money in the world. Now, to gain an upper hand, the Glazers march out Britain's wealthiest man, because who can afford Britain's or the world's biggest club? Well, that's got to be Britain's wealthiest man, right? But who is this guy? From a sporting context, he owns OG Nice and he owns a cycling team. And you're talking about him buying the biggest sports football brand in the world. That is quite a jump, no? So I believe that Jim Ratcliffe was just paraded around for the Glazers to maintain strong leverage in their discussions. Because, like I said, it's all about leverage. Again, that's good news for Manchester United fans. Sheikh Jassim, I don't know how long more it'll take, but it will not be before the transfer window opens or even before it closes. This is our wishful thinking as fans, that we want everything to be done. In fact, we wanted everything to be done yesterday, last month. We're on pins and needles here, and I understand all that, but just ask yourselves this question. Is Sheikh Jassim buying Manchester United for a year? So if it is decades, what's one transfer window? Again, truth, fiction, I said in the first chapter as well. If the deal is only concluded next year, it will not surprise me one bit. But the problem is, if mainstream media tells you that, then what are they going to do for the rest of the year? While we can hardly be patient, these news organizations cannot have a single slow day at the office. They have agendas, they have narratives to push upon us, such as this whole debate about Qatar and human rights, and it is so mind-numbingly, infuriatingly dumb that you have Newcastle, which was just acquired by Saudi. Manchester City being bought out by Etihad was all bed of roses. But now, when it comes to Manchester United, oh no, we should talk about human rights violations. Well, why didn't you talk about it when they were buying Barclays, British Airways, when they bought Harrods, Heathrow Airport, Sainsbury? They've invested £50 billion into the British economy, and all of a sudden, now it's a cause of concern. It's agendas against Manchester United. And that's the price you pay when you are the biggest and the most talked about club in the world. We'll have money to spend. And that is the message I give to all the fans and myself as well, that we needn't worry about the transfer window for two reasons. Number one, organizations like Manchester United, these mega big organizations, they don't operate month to month or day to day. Organizations like Manchester United have contingencies upon contingencies, and full forecasts of budgets and transfer markets are done well in advance. So they would have already communicated to Eric Ten Hag, regardless of the sale, that this is the amount he would have for the next transfer window, which I reckon should be around 150 to 200 million pounds. Plus, I hope we get to sell a couple of these numpties that are wearing Manchester United shirt. We sell a couple of those, and then we should have enough money in the transfer window. The second reason, Eric Ten Hag. We have just witnessed last year what a proper manager does in the transfer market. We've had the funds, we've had the club, but we've not had proper manager for the last couple of years. The last time we had a proper manager, our CEO decided to throw a hissy fit. And of all the managers, you try to pull that stunt with Jose Mourinho, but now we have a proper manager. He knows what he's looking for. He knows the style of play. I don't care if he gets completely unknown players for 15, 20 million, because I have immovable faith that his acquisitions will improve the team further. He will not be swayed by the names. His criteria would be the character and the amount of sacrifice that these players will have in them. And that bodes very, very well for our club. I'd like to end on this positive note. I hope these answers go some way in addressing concerns that most of you might have. But if I missed the question or two, feel free to write them down in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Stay safe, everyone.